Our topic today, sales objections, how to respond to common objections. Um, the sales conversation, it's like the do or die moment. It's the time when all the work that you've been doing and you've been spending your time on, it all comes down to this. It's almost like, okay, it's showtime now. It's time to peel back the curtain, get the show going, and have a strong finish, and get clients. Get people to to connect with you and get engaged in the services and products that you offer. And it's not easy, especially when you have certain values like harmony. We've been talking about in Fit and Focused and in Mindset, we've been talking a lot about your values and how they play into everything that you do. But what's really hard is when people naturally come into the sales conversation and they have objections. They have objections. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about how to overcome some of those objections in very practical terms. But here's the question that I have for you. What do when what do you spend your time working on when you are actually focused on your business or your work? Where are you really spending your time? What are you doing? And anyone can answer.
I don't think I can really define what it is I'm doing, you know? I'm like always trying to get to the place where I'm working on the business and I just never get there, but I'm like trying to get there. Like,
Okay. Thank you for that honest answer.
My time in the past was always spent on learning about my business and never
Mhm.
actually taking action. And the last 2 months, I've upped my action with trying to make more cold contacts or just warm contacts and
Mhm.
actually getting to the sales call.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I've made progress on that, but I need to ramp it up. And I'm actually going to be in Louisville this weekend for our quarterly conference, and I'm going to choose to use that as a jumping point to move forward fast.
Right. Okay. So Esther, what's your response?
So I think what I spend most of my time on is fulfillment of the sales call. Okay, so fulfilling what was promised. And so that's kind of like the day to day, but right now, but I also spend a lot of time on expanding the business. And I'm talking in a corporate world, but I think this is true in an
Yes.
entrepreneurial world.
Yes.
So, like today, I spent most of my morning working on stuff that would be related to expanding the business. So, getting more business, current business,
Mhm.
expanding it for 3 more years. We have a current agreement, want to expand it for actually 4 more years and working on that. So, like a proposal type thing. So
Yeah.
that's strategy, business development. Yeah, strategy there. So it's a little bit, I mean, my day is strategic, but it's also tactical.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'm capturing all of this because if we look at this, we want to make sure that whatever our activities are, that ultimately they're leading to your sales call or conversation, and it actually equals sales. So this is something to think about this week. I mean, just as a precursor for next week. But the question here is, what are you doing in your time? How much time are you spending in each activity? And which activities are getting you sales? which ones are not getting you sales. So I want you to think of, and this actually is thinking about strategy right here, because when you are trying to get to sales, you have to have a good strategy. If you do not have a good solid strategy in place and you're not spending time on the right kinds of things, you're not going to get sales calls and you're not going to get sales. You can be, just to Rachel's point, you can be learning everything about your business and just going and researching and researching and researching. I've met and worked with many women who got caught up in that, but they never took that and moved it forward. When you're trying to get sales calls, I mean, sitting around doing administrative things like, oh, I'm going to make a new spreadsheet. I'm going to make it pretty. And these are things that sort of get you off track from actually getting the sales call. And so we'll be working on this next week. Okay, business development, what does that actually look like? What are you doing are you going to networking events? Are you doing cold calls? Are you reaching people on LinkedIn? Are you messaging? Are you doing these things? And of all of those things that you're doing, what's going to get you the most bang for your buck? So if you're not getting sales calls, just know that we've got to have a strategy around it. So when we look at our sales conversations, I honestly believe that the sales calls and the sales come when you're ready. When you're really ready for it. And you know that you're not ready if you're not spending time, dedicated time in the activities that are going to lead to that sales conversation. So I'm going to give you one thing that will help you to feel like you're more ready for the sales conversation once you get people in here. There's a whole nother process that has to happen in order to get to this place. Okay. Any comments about that? I know I just kind of threw up on you a bit just to say, hey, you got to have a strategy. You got to be spending time in the right things to actually get to this sales call.
Yeah, I was going to say that one of the things I actually do is I notice in my time is I'm like formulating text messages to send to people, like repeat clients already clients.
Mhm.
And I've been asking people, like to leave reviews, and I'll give them like $25 off or something like that. And so, people don't necessarily, they'll say they're going to leave a review and then it's like they never get to it.
Mhm.
So, but that is the goal, to go through all my clients. Like, I wanted to create a newsletter so I can, have touch points.
Okay. So if you think about, you have activities that you're doing, and my question to you is what is actually the strategy in that? What is the process that you're using? Because let me tell you, I'm the queen of spontaneity. I'll be like, I think I'll send out 50 emails right now. I think I'll post on social media about 5 posts. Right? And we could spend a lot of time doing activities, but what is the strategy behind it? What is, if your goal is to get testimonials, do you have a funnel that is, or are you just popping it out there? Hey, if you do this, I'll do that. Or do you actually have a funnel? Oh, by the way, I know that you said that you were going to, it's an email, it's an automated email. It might be a part of your funnel that says, I would love your testimonial. Here's the link. I'll make it easy for you right here. And you have a series of emails that leads to that. And then they respond to that. And then you give them a thank you. And then you invite them into another sale process. See, there's a strategy that goes behind all of this. And what I have found in the course of my career is that many times we're feeling so busy because we're just doing a bunch of activities and like throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping it sticks.
So it's funny you're talking about strategies because I had done some activity. I qualified for this extra coaching call on Saturday morning. And one of the points that the founder of the company said was the point of and he making a reference to talking to people. It said the point of a first date is to get a second date.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what Angie says. It's like not proposing marriage on the first. And he actually said, you can't propose marriage on the first date. Otherwise you scare everybody off,
Right.
I'm like, okay, good confirmation.
Hi, I'm Angie. Would you like to get married? I'm going to take on your last name. Give me the ring and let's go meet your parents right now. And by the way, here's the name of our children.
Yeah, way too much information.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, so anyway, that's just a precursor for what we're going to work on next week to start to get things reined in. And you may already have some good processes, but in order to have a smoothly run business that's growing and one that you can scale, you need to start being really dedicated and really focused in on putting processes into place that are going to work for you. And with the goal being that you get a client at the end. And so you need to be able to see those steps that actually lead you to that client. Okay, so let's talk about sales objections. And what I'd love, does everybody have the worksheet? It's attached in the email. Okay, and I'm just showing it here for you. Let me stop sharing that. And let me get onto the worksheet here. Okay. So let's just do a little, what do you call it? I'll just get some answers from you. What objections have you heard from clients?
Price.
Okay, price is too much.
Yeah, too much.
Okay. What else?
Is this a pyramid?
This is just objections that when you've tried to sell.
No,
you've heard people.
that's an objection that I've gotten from the life business. Is this
Oh,
a pyramid?
is this a pyramid? I
Yeah.
thought you were referring to Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Oh, no.
And yes,
So
that is
a pyramid.
It's actually a triangle, technically, because a pyramid
Yes,
is
it's not
three-dimensional.
3-dimensional.
Okay, so is this a pyramid? And I put scheme on there because that
Yeah.
they may not say that, but that's exactly what you're thinking.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I get is there any kind of discount, any kind of, because I am a repeat customer, I have to probably be one of your best clients.
Okay. So the objection is, I've been your client. I deserve to get a discount. They feel entitled. So there's an entitlement. I think I should get this one for free since I was your customer one time 25 years ago. All right. What else?
Bad timing. This is bad timing. This is a bad
timing.
timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad timing. I'm just so busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have time to take on one more thing.
Right. My plate is full. So I had someone to get on my schedule yesterday. It was a complete cold call, and she was calling me to sell me like some type of coaches platform. And she wasn't even really clear about what it was, but it was not clearly articulated. And I think it may have been her first, maybe even her second time selling this platform. And my objection was, this, what you're selling me is it's not something that I asked for, and it's not a priority for me. So yeah, so plate is full and it's not a priority.
Or they're just plain not interested in the service. Like it doesn't match their needs,
Mhm.
interests.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the beauty of creating a process in a funnel, because the people that actually get to you in sales calls through a funnel, you know that they have had some interest, you know, they've connected with you. What else? What are some other objections?
I still have other places to look at.
Okay, yeah. I'm just checking around.
I have to pray about it.
I have said that, and I've actually done that. Yet it is an objection. And if anybody comes to me with that objection, I'm going to say, let's pray right now. Okay.
Me being full concierge, sometimes I run into the objection of location.
Okay.
Like I can provide a location, but it comes off as, you know, well, I'll provide you this private, you know, you can come to a private unit. It's north of downtown. It's in the New Fall Creek home area. I'll send you the invoice. You put down your $50 deposit, and I'll give you the address the day before. And I know some people, they may want to know, but I mean, like nowadays, like when you get your makeup done, your hair done, or things like that, sometimes you have to put down a deposit. They'll give you the address, you know, when the day before or whatever. So I don't know. I haven't really sold that location yet, but it is an alternative. You know, I do have a very nice location where my people can come to and get a residential experience if they don't want me to come to their space.
Yeah. Okay. And I put proximity too. Here at the VIP Center, that's a challenge when we're doing our women's circles. You know, when we first started those, of course, there was an objection like, you know, it's too far from where I'm traveling in the afternoon, so I can't come to a circle. And that's one reason why we have live streaming. We have the virtual option now for everything. That happened because of COVID.
And I appreciate the online hybrid option.
Yeah, especially since you're in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I miss you guys though.
We miss you too. Okay, any other objections that you can think of?
I just don't have oh wait, we have bad timing, never mind. I see that now. I'm gonna pay attention.
Yeah, I have a lot going on. There's a wide variety of things here, you know, with our objections. So for those of you, well, I think almost all of you are familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and we spent some time talking about this last week. It is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs is you can have foundational objections in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And so it's important for us to look at that. And I just want to do a check-in to see if anything that we talked about last week really stuck with you. So I want you to, I'm going to put you into a group, or I mean, into a pair. And I want you to think of a time that you did not get the sale. A time that you didn't get the sale. Okay, I want you to get that picture in your mind, that specific incident. And I want you to think about when you didn't get that sale, you were having a conversation with that person, trying to get them to take on your service or your product. Where were they? Now, you know, looking back, where were they on Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Okay. So, and we'll just take about 5 minutes for this. So if you remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs, let me blow this up and make it a little bit bigger for you so you can see it on the screen here. So remember, we've got the bottom rung, which is their physiological needs. These are the basic needs. This is like survival mode. They're in survival mode. They're concerned about getting food, water, a place to rest, warmth. According to Maslow, this is even sexual desire. That's like a survival for some people. That next level is your safety and security. So this has to do with your financial security, for example, you know, and simply just being safe. Then we've got our belongingness and love needs. You know, when somebody is in this level, they're concerned about fitting in, being, you know, belonging, not being excluded, but rather being included, having relationships. And then the esteem needs, which is more about respect. They want to be respected in their field. They want the feeling of accomplishment. They want to be recognized for what they're doing. And then self-actualization is what I call the personal utopia, where you want to be a philanthropist. You want to feed the poor. You want to give back somehow. And yeah, so it's a completely different level than all the way down to survival mode. So just to recap what we're doing in the 5-minute talk, I want you to talk about a time you didn't get the sale, and think about, when you look at that situation, where was that person? Where were they hanging around at? You know, what was it that they wanted or they needed, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Okay. All right. So I know this is going to be a little challenge. It's going to challenge you to think about it, but we're going to try to have the conversation and see what happens. Okay. Rachel and Betsy.
Yeah.
Let me just call that out loud. I have to sign this manually so that you go in the same room with yourself. Betsy and Rachel. Okay. All right. 5 minutes, ladies, and then we'll come right back. All right. So we had 2 Arianes and 2 Rachels in in your group.
Ah.
All right. We've got Esther and Crystal coming back. So how did your conversation go?
Well, it was a little bit one-sided because Ariane's audio wasn't working. So I'm like talking and trying to read her lips when she was responding to me. But we both said, you know, we think our people were at safety and security needs, and that they just don't understand investment and return on investment in themselves.
Mm-hmm. So safety and security. And so the question is, they were probably at safety and security needs. Where did you approach them? You know, how were you trying to sell to them?
Well, the woman that I was talking to on Monday, you know, she kept saying, well, I use my credit card for everything so that I'm building my credit score. And so that's why I said safety and security. I was thinking more about the security from a financial point of view, because she's a traveling nurse, so she has the psychological base needs met.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was more of a she didn't understand how the Life app would actually help with the security and safety.
Right.
And honestly, she was walking all over the place, cleaning up as we were talking. So I don't think she was fully engaged in the conversation to begin with.
Right.
Which is, you know, it was just a learning experience.
Yeah. So, and this is an example of a conversation where, and remember, this is foundational objection. So this, you could, if you're not tuning in, or if you're struggling to speak to that level that she's at in terms of financial security and safety, then it's, you know, the conversation is pretty much going to be over here. So that means that we've really, really got to dig in to hear more about what their challenges are. So I do want to hear, so Esther and Crystal, I see
Mhm.
Crystal's on the phone. Esther, tell me about your conversation.
So mine was I was doing a sales presentation to a group of people, but there was one primary person who was the lead. And on the call, he was junior to the other people in his organization who were on the call. Okay,
Okay.
so he had been with the company for about 6 months. Everyone else has been in the company forever.
Yeah.
And I know all the people from the company too. So his was esteem needs, I feel like. So when we did the presentation, we talked about the travel product that we had. He basically made sure that we knew that he's a super traveler, he's a super user. While we were demoing the product, he goes, I've been checking your prices to compare you against the Expedia while you've been talking and presenting, which I thought was kind of mean. I mean, at least he's transparent, but I thought, okay, so you're not engaged in what we're showing you. I mean, it's like,
Well, I would challenge Esther that he was actually in the belongingness and love needs
okay.
because he was trying to prove himself. You know, he
But but here's where and I know, I agree. I think there was part of that, but he kept on talking about how he knows travel and he knows what's out there and he knows pricing and
okay.
that's he was
Yeah,
very,
you're right.
yeah, no, but I agree. I think there was a certain level of that, trying to foster and build that belongingness with his executive leadership, because there was the senior vice president of HR was on this call. She doesn't ever show up for anything, and I was like, whoa. And so, I mean, and I'm sure he was a little uncomfortable. So
Right.
yeah. And I think, Angie, people go between both.
They do.
They go through many of them, but yeah. So that's where mine was.
Yeah. And so we want to be able to, when we're in the sales process, we want to be able um to target though, or just to be mindful of those things so that we make sure that our language is speaking to what the need is that they have in that situation. So um and so that's why I want to bring up the listening coach as part of your strategy to get psychological agreement with your client. So I see you, Dee Dee. Thanks for joining. Okay, so here's what I want to say about the listening coach. We're going to just do a quick exercise, or we'll just do a quick, quick partner exercise. Man, time flies. We really need 90 minutes for this. But I want you to be able to use listening coach. So one of you needs to be the seller, and then the other is the potential client. Maybe we'll just do this together, and I'll get two of you to volunteer. So whoever is going to be the seller, I just want you to give a quick 30-second overview of what you sell for the sake of context. So like, Esther, if you sell vacations, or if you sell, whatever it is, you just for the sake of context. And then the seller, I want you to ask your potential client, well, tell me about your challenges. So if you are going to play, whoever's going to play the potential client, I want you to just start talking about your challenges. If you can tie it in to whatever that person is selling, that's great. But the whole goal of this exercise is for us to figure out where the potential client is on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's our main goal. And so in order to use listening coach, the formula for listening coach is, so what I hear you saying is, and you're reflecting back what you're hearing from that person. And then you're turning around and asking a powerful question. And we talked about this last week. One of the most powerful questions that you can ask is what's important to you? Because that person, they'll basically hand it to you on a silver platter about what matters the most to them, and it will tell you where they are in this Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay, so I know we're going deep. We're going deep. So who would be interested in taking the challenge of being the seller? Okay, Ariane, you want to be the seller? All right, and then who wants to be the potential client? Deidre.
The objections already.
Deidre, are you willing to be the potential client?
Sure. I forget my face talks before my mouth. I was over here like, nope, not me. And then I was like, oh, they can see me.
Okay, so I mean, are you really okay with doing this?
Yeah, so I'm the client.
Yeah, you're the potential client. You're not the client yet. And so Ariane, Ariane, just real quickly, what is it that you sell? What's the service that you sell?
I sell IV hydration, nutrition, vitamin therapy, just things to kind of get your energy levels up and treat you on a cellular level.
Okay. So you basically, your product and services are health related to help bring ideal health, to bring
Self-care on a cellular level.
Okay. All right. So Deidre, you have the context. And so Ariane, you're going to talk to Deidre as if she's your potential client. And you're simply going to ask her, well, tell me about your challenges. What are your challenges?
And that's how I kind of started off asking her about the challenges. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Deidre. How are you today?
I'm tired.
Oh, well, listen, I'm glad we're talking, right? Because I kind of want to know a little more about that. But my name is Ariane. I'm with Brain IV Therapy. And, you know, I have different therapies available to you immediately because it would be intravenous. And so it would be nutritional therapy, hydration therapy, you name it. Tell me some things. What are you dealing with?
So, you know, I'm an entrepreneur. It's just me right now. I'm an organizational one, even though we have multiple functions. And I'm tired. I do take a lot of supplements. So, but I work out. Really always eat the best. But I'm open to other things that could really help me think clearer and just have more energy.
Okay. And that's one of the things here at Brain IV Therapy that we do. We just enhance your overall well-being. I mean, you know, I'm big on eating.
Okay, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you because we're going to back up.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to reflect back what you heard Deidre say.
Okay. So if I understand you correctly, you are a professional businesswoman where you are balancing life. You know, you're busy in the work that you do, as well as working to take care of yourself. You don't always make the best decisions, you know, as it pertains to, you know, your food choices. You do believe in vitamins of some sort. And so am I understanding you clearly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now ask her the powerful question.
Okay, so tell me this, what's important to you?
Finding a rich, God-fearing man that's going to be like, you know what?
Okay.
If you
How
want
do you think you're gonna attract that
money,
man?
I got you. But until that happens, right? Until that happens, being at a place where I feel good, like internally, like I'm working on this, but just even feeling good and knowing that I'm taking steps to be the healthiest version that I can be. That is very important to me.
Okay, so feeling good from the inside out.
Okay, so let's pause here. And where is Deetra on Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
She
And
is
anybody
purple and green and blue.
does anyone disagree with that?
I think she is, I want to say squarely, but triangularly in the purple. I think she's totally in the purple.
I think she's in the green.
Oh, purple.
So listen to what Deetra said over and over. She's tired.
Yeah.
It's a physiological, and she told you what was important to her. She's looking for a relationship. But listen to the caveat that she had, that he's got to be rich.
And
I said
God
something
fearing.
before that. Thank you, Erin. I
God
said something
fearing.
before that, Angie.
God fearing.
Totally get that. And so actually Deetra is hovering around the bottom two in the way that she responds. She wants security. She's got some physiological needs. I mean, she's feeling, physically tired. And so this is important for us to start to recognize, self-actualization. I think that, she has a dream of that, but in reality, she's hanging around these bottom two rungs. And so until she gets those two bottom rungs taken care, I mean, you can't deliver her a husband. That's not what we're talking about. But until she has some kind of resolution for these two areas, she's not really gonna, if you come at her like, oh, you could have the perfect ideal health, right here. When you say, okay, here's the price tag, she's like, oh, I'll think about it. It's because, she's about security, right? And she wants to get rest. So that's how you approach her from a sales conversation.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to tell you, so Rain IV therapy is designed to restore your body. That tiredness and that exhaustion that you've been feeling, you want that to go away. And so here's what Rain IV therapy does to deal with that. So you see, you tie it directly to what's going on with them. So you got to talk to her around, around these Maslow's hierarchy of need levels. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's really good. And it definitely takes practice. It's a skill that has to be developed because it's not easy.
Right.
Evaluating that quickly.
Right.
Angie, you had talked about previously at some point about possibly doing like an all-day workshop on this, on handling objections and learning listening coach better.
Yeah.
Was that still a possibility, or just?
It's not going to be a possibility this year, but
Okay.
I know in 2023 it's something that I want to do.
Okay.
Because I mean, it would take a day being immersed in this to really just get through the whole process. So I want to go back to Ariane's situation because, we as women, we want to jump into the sale, and that's when we need to pull back. We need to pull forth the listening coach. And that's why I interrupted you, Ariane, because you're never going to sell to her if she feels like it's forced on her, and she doesn't feel heard. But when you use listening coach and you articulated it, you did it perfectly. So it's really just a matter of you, when you say, tell me your challenges, and they start telling your challenge, it's a matter of you saying, okay, hold on, I'm not going to sell yet. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I'm establishing the relationship with her, and I'm going to reflect back what I'm hearing from her to make sure that we're on the same page. And then I'm going to find out what's most important to her so that I can see where she's at, what are her actual needs. Because people will tell you all day long, that I'll be the first one to tell you, boy, I would love to just give to the world and just be, just give away money and just go and be with children. well, maybe not so much that, because I've already been there and I've got grandchildren and all that, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, that self-actualization is really this just, it's this much higher level of place that, you know, we just touch on every once in a while, that but in the real world, we're actually struggling, you know, with these different, you know, with these different real needs about belonging, you know, fitting in, being respected in our field, and accomplishing things, making sure that we're financially secure, and we're safe, and we've got all of our basic needs. All right. I have some homework for you. And on this worksheet, we have objection response strategies. And so I want you to look over these strategies, because when we come together next week, we're going to run through we're going to do some skill practice, and we're going to create some scenarios, and you're going to get a chance to actually use these as a coach. So you're going to practice these. I'm going to put you on the spot in a situation, and you get to pick what strategy you're going to use in your conversation. Okay. So as an FYI, I've got some that are, you know, when the potential client says no in general, by the way, people are programmed to say no first. So we already know that. We can expect objections. It's very rare that you go in and somebody says, yes, this is exactly what I've wanted. Let's do it now. $15,000, no problem, right? Or, you know, $20 million, no problem. That is a rarity.
That is so weird, because even children, when they start talking, they say no before they say yes.
Yes.
What is that?
I think it's just it's just a protection. You know,
Okay.
it's a trust thing.
Okay.
But I've given you some different, these are just basics, right? So digging into their pain, because people, especially women, respond to pain. They don't like to be in pain. They're going to deal with the pain faster than they are going to deal with pleasure. And so an objection, these are statements that you might use. What happens when you don't move forward? Exposing the real reasons for I'm not ready. So a lot of women say they're not ready, or they just demonstrate that they're not ready. And I've said to coaching clients, you know, it seems to me that you haven't really decided that it's time for you to do something for you. It sounds like it's, you know, you're not ready you're not ready for this. And so I do work with people who are ready to go, and, you know, and then they'll pipe up, well, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Let's sign up.
Coaches sometimes are choosy about their clients. They don't want to be bogged down with people who are dragging, is what I hear.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's where I'm at right now. The VIP center is a full-time job, and I'm slowly letting some coaching clients come back, but I've had some that I've just said, you know, I'm not the right coach for you right now. So I've actually been the one to put up the objection. Money and time objections, those are big ones. So you'll want to look at those, and then also, you know, more on the positive flip side, showing them the return on investment when they invest in themselves. That's money related objections. And then inspiring to action. So you'll want to take a look at those. And when we come together next week, we will have scenarios ready, and we'll do some skill practice role plays. Yay! It's so exciting. Now, if I have 0 people show up next week, I'm gonna come after y'all. Oh goodness. All right, any thoughts or questions about what we talked about today?
I got to jump off, but thank you, Angie.
You're welcome.
I have a question, but it's not about what we talked about today.
Okay, go ahead.
So, it's a Calendly question. I think I jacked up all my Calendly links. I probably should have did a tutorial, but after you edit a link, does it make it invalid?
If you change it, then it no longer works wherever you've had it.
Ah.
So, so that means that we need to go, so wherever you've posted on the website, I mean, Cart can help you get the right links on your website buttons. If you've put out posts, you can go in and edit those posts.
Okay, I didn't do any posts yet because I figured all this out this morning.
Mhm.
So the new link I had him put on my website. I see, I should have just asked before. Anyway, I went in and edited them because I thought a link's a link and I can just do different things to it. So I went in and changed it afterwards. So it's invalid.
Okay.
So now that it's changed, I just need to go to Calendly and send him the newest version and don't change it.
Yes, that's exactly
So,
right.
so some of my marketing material, this is what I get for trying to be techie. The QR code was set to an event, so that's invalid, but I'll worry about that later. I'll
Okay.
have to get new business cards or just tell people don't use that QR code.
Well, and that's why you always want to send them to your contact page or your schedule a call page. It's your www.corebeliefscoaching.com/contact or schedule a call, and always direct them to that page to schedule with you instead of instead of giving them the direct Calendly link. So that way, if it does change for any reason, all you have to do is change it at one place, and that's that button, that page.
Okay. Because that one that you did when they fill out their contact stuff, where does that go? Does that go right into HoneyBook or it goes somewhere?
Yeah, that's a HoneyBook.
Okay.
That's a HoneyBook. Yeah. So, but what we'll have to do, Cart will need to change out the Calendly link in the automated emails that we created. So he'll have to go in the automation and update the Calendly link.
Okay. And then I'm not going to touch Calendly again. So,
All right.
okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you later.